So, I hope you have to be clear about the topic which we have discussed on the last two classes on the spinal column. Cervical spine, thoracic spine. So how many cervical we have? 7. Thoracic, 12. So now we are moving to the next component of the spinal column. And that next component where you feel or where you find so many imbalances, so many problems. 70% of the population nowadays are suffering from lower back pain. What do you say? Lower back. So mid back we have discussed, that is your thoracic. Upper back we have discussed, that is your cervical spine. Now coming to the component lower back pain. Lower back. And lower back relates to the lower part of the spinal column. How many problems nowadays, if you have seen, lower back pain, disc problem, muscle imbalances, muscle wasting, and that can radiate to hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain. So that the pain can be radiate anywhere. Sometimes it can radiate to the upper body. Sometimes it can radiate to the lower body, my dear friends. So the component which I am going to talk about today must have to be clear focus on that. If we know about that component, you will feel and you will experience in the future how your teaching becomes more in an efficient way. So yes, I am going to talk about today lumbar spine. So many problems occurs on your lumbar spine nowadays. Compression, disc prolapse, disc protrusion, disc herniation, etc. So what we need? Good, strong lower back. Not too much strong, we need flexibility too, little bit. But that lumbar spine is responsible more for stability. So let's talk about the lumbar spine. So the next component is your lumbar. So lumbar 5 in number. L5. So lumbar 5 in number, L5, which we say. So about this L5, this lumbar is the largest vertebra in the body. The smallest one is your cervical spine and the largest one is your lumbar spine, L5, which has to support upper body weight. So lumbar L5 in number, right? And which has to support the upper body weight. So now you can correlate when we were discussing about the cervical spine, when I ask you if you are shifting your body weight, move forward. If you are shifting your neck, move forward, move forward, move forward. After some time these muscles doesn't respond to you. So the pressure comes to your lower back. And that's why you say, I don't have any injury on my lower back, but still I am feeling lower back pain. Because the anatomy and biomechanically, it has to support the upper body weight. And if your upper body is going out of alignment, extra pressure has to be carried by your lumbar spine. And that's why the lower back pain occurs. So it is a simple mechanism. Very simple. So sometimes it's not mandatory, not necessary. If any injury, anything hurts on your lower back, then only lower back pain comes. Mostly people, they don't go outside, they are just isolated in the home, in the offices, no injuries, they are not walking too much, still pain. So just think about that, why this pain is coming. From where this pain is coming? This pain is coming only from your postural imbalances, right? Only from the postural deviation, the postural imbalances, poor postural habits, which we are carrying nowadays. And ignoring it every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. That's why the pain intensity also increases every day, every day, every day. And there is no remedy for it which you are trying. We never try to get stopped that pain by some different stretches, by different exercises. No magic we needed. Only what we needed just to use our body in a correct position with awareness only. So lumbar spine, L5, largest vertebra which has to support the upper body weight. So let's talk about the lumbar spine in more detail. So where it is, the lumbar spine. So after thoracic, right, the T12. After thoracic spine, the T12, here we ends the T12. So this is the L1. You can see it is bigger than the thoracic, it is bigger than the cervical, largest vertebrae. L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. So L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. If we go from the lower part of the wrist to the center, we find T12. If we go from the lower part of the rib, that is your floating ribs, going towards the center, you find the T12. Just go slightly below L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. So L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. This is we call the lower back. So we have natural curve here too, right? We have natural curve here too. Kyphosis we call in the thoracic spine. What we call in the thoracic spine? Kyphotic curve. But here what we say that in the lumbar spine we have a natural curve too that we call lordosis, right? Lordosis. But here is the two curve also which we can see. The lordosis we say natural curve. Right? The natural curve. Then, due to poor postural habits, what happens? When you're taking your back and sometimes your buttock sticks out like this, you have seen mostly with the women who is wearing the high heels or working on the standing job like this anterior pelvic tilt here, arch gets high, right? The arch gets high. So when a pelvis is drooping forward like this, and here you feel that there is some unnecessary arch. That arch we call the hyperlordosis. Right? Hyperlordosis. That we call the high arch. What do you call it? High arch. Sometimes you have seen this high arch creates more back pain because your body, the center of gravity is falling more forward. Right? The center of gravity is falling more forward. So the other muscles has to work more. So you are not using your main muscles. You are using your accessory muscles here. And that's why the whole postural balance get out. And that's why the lower back pain comes. Sometimes people say that how to check this arch in another way, that you have seen people that ask them to lay down on the mat. So when we ask to lay down on the mat, just when you lay down, you ask the person, nothing to do, just place your palm and bring it inside, right? If your palm or if your wrist or the whole hand is crossing the whole way from one to another, the other side, that we call the high arch. Right? That we call the high arch. If the whole hand is passing, suppose if I have a high arch like this, it can pass easily. But then you can see, if you have a high arch like this, my chest is facing upward. My pelvis is also lifting upwards. And my hand can go easily all the way out. But if you don't have a high arch, the hand becomes only on the halfway. That's it. This is the neutral arch. And if there is posterior, I don't have any arch. My pelvic goes like this, back, no space, no space, no entry, no curve. Right? Then there is no curve, that we say. So this way also you can see, if your hand is going like this, if I have a high arch, you ask the person to bend your knees. As he or she bend the knees, posteriorly pelvis, the pelvic goes easily back and no arch. Because muscle is getting engaged here, abdominals. Right? The muscles get engaged, that we call the abdominals. So this is the way we can do, and we can check simply for the layman, for the beginner, how to check this arch. Ask the person to lay down on the mat, on your back. Place your hand, and if it is passing all the way out to the other side, this is high arch. Right? This is high arch. Hyperlordosis. You ask the person to bend your knees, pelvic shift back, no arch, or only the hand is going halfway, arch neutral. But as you ask to do, straighten your legs, bring your hand underneath your lower back. If the hand is crossing all the way out to the other side, high arch. If the pelvic is posterior and there is no arch, it goes like this. No entry, no space, no arch. So what we need, we have to maintain the neutral arch. Right? Neutral arch on your lower back. So this is how we have to proceed with our students, guys, right? That maintaining a neutral arch, this is the main thing too. So if you are going to talk about high arch, no arch, neutral arch. Neutral arch we all need it. So if we talk about the no arch, right? If we talk about the no arch, that is your hypolordosis. Loss of arch. Right? The hypolordosis, loss of arch. So 3 different types of curves you can see. Lordosis, that is the natural curve. Hyper, high arch. Hypo, loss of arch, that is like a bamboo stick, like a bamboo tree, that we call the bamboo spine. So when this is the hyperlordosis is here, when the high arch is here, the problem comes to your, if suppose this is my high arch, like this, right? And if you ask me to go for the backward bending, it creates compression here. So problem with the backward bending. Sometimes people who have a sitting job, they work like this, no arch. Ask them to bend forward, they go like this. So problem with the forward bending. So here problem with the backward bending and problem with the forward bending in the hypolordosis. So simple modification you can use, guys, right? I'm not giving you only the modification to the postures, because posture, as I already told you, you just do the posture for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7, maximum 10. After that, you go back to your normal routine. Again, the muscle gets its own wrong shape. So as we have discussed earlier, we need corrective exercises to correct all these imbalances. Right? What we need? Corrective exercises. So you are doing exercises in relation to the postures. So every day the intensity of the pain, the intensity of uncomfortableness going decreasing every day, every day, every day, every day, and your muscle is getting aligned, your posture is getting aligned, your curve is getting back to normal. This is the goal of training. So as we discussed now, high arch I have, right? I have to go for the backward bending. If I'm going for the cobra pose here, the high arch I have. Which pose? Cobra pose. So if I have a high arch like this, if you ask me to go backward bending like this way, cobra with the high arch, it creates compression to me. So what we can use, in the beginning you can use this cushion. Right? You can use this cushion. You have to apply this cushion on your hip bone, on the front of your hip bone, the ASIS, right? Here we can apply this cushion, this much width. I'm laying down here. After that, if you ask me to go for the backward bending, must be easy for me. So cobra is easy for me. So apply this, or you can use the block, or you can use the bolster too. If there is too much high curve, I'll suggest you to use the bolster, place it in this way. Again same, on the front of your hip bone, has to be on the bolster. Here we go. You ask to go for the backward bending, gets more into the backward bending. So these are the modifications which you can use with your students who has high arch, right? Who has high arch or hyperlordosis. Now, for this high arch, after this high arch, these are the modifications you can use. Also avoid when you're going for the simple pose, as you say, cat and cow, right? So this is okay. But when you're doing this, if you have a high arch, don't drop your pelvis like this way. Ask the person to maintain the neutral arch. You have already high, ask the person don't drop your pelvis. It creates more compression on your lower back. So just neutral your pelvis and try to lengthen your lower back. Try to lengthen your lower back. That's it, to maintain the natural curve. This is the main mistake people do. Cat, this they do. So person who has a high arch creates more compression. So it's better to engage your abs, push your navel towards the spine and try to activate your muscles and maintain the neutral arch here. So these are the basic things which we have to take care, my dear friends, if you have these kind of unnatural arches on your lower back. I hope this must be clear to you. So what we have to do after that in these arches, basically in relation to the high arch, so hyperlordosis, the muscle imbalances are there. Your abdominals get weak, right? Abdominals get weaker. Glutes get weak. Iliopsoas gets tight. Spinal muscles, spinal extensors, that is your back muscles, get tight. So this is we call the lower cross-body syndrome. Just an imbalance, right? We'll discuss in the muscles more detail in muscular system. This is just I am giving you the basic what happens in the hyperlordosis. So now the target, abdominals weak, we have to strengthen them. Glutes weak, we have to strengthen them. Tight group, we have to stretch them. So we have to stretch this, we have to stretch this. So simple way you can use to stretch them, the spinal extensors or this iliopsoas. So if you're talking about the spinal extensors, you can easily do it. You can take the help of the chair, or if you have nothing, just starting with the basics if you're talking about. Back muscles, if you have to stretch, pelvic open, just try to find out any bolster or anything which you have and try to stretch it like this way. In the child pose, with modification of the hip opening. So hold it for 30 to 60 seconds, 3 to 5 repetitions. And then release. So this you can do, or you can use the chair. So you have to bring your feet, knee or pelvis in one line. So don't bring your feet closer to the chair. Little bit away, and then try to stretch, try to stretch, try to stretch, try to stretch, try to stretch your back muscles, the spinal extensors. So to slide the chair forward and stretch your back. So don't take the pelvis forward, don't take your ankle forward, this is wrong. This has to be stable, and try to stretch the chair forward and bring your hips back towards the wall. Try to stretch it, and you can feel the more intense stretch on your whole spinal column. Hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. Repetitions is around 3 to 5. So this is, you can do it. No chair you have, place the palms on your wall, stabilize here, and try to stretch your hips back only. Try to stretch your hips back. Press the wall and try to stretch your hips towards the back of your wall. 30 to 60 seconds, 3 to 5 repetitions. So this we can do. For iliopsoas tightness, what we have to do, you can do the lower lunge like this. The lower lunge. 30 to 60 second hold, 3 to 5 repetition. Now, the next thing comes, that is your strengthening of these muscles, right? Strengthening of these muscles. So strengthening of the abdominals, what we have to do, so that's why I always ask that I'm not giving only the modifications. Modification, you can see if the person has a high arch, like this, going for the chair pose, tuck your tailbone in, tuck your tailbone in, no. Engage, because my abdominals are weak. That's why I'm not able to control my pelvic movement. If I ask the person to bring your navel towards the spine, this happens, and there is no more high arch. So its command has to be simple and clear. So ask them to engage your abdominals. Push your navel towards the spine. So you can feel. Right now you are sitting or standing, whatever, in the position you are. Just try to practice this. Push your navel towards the spine. No pressure. Simply push your navel towards the spine. Push your navel towards the spine. Push your navel towards your spine. Feel what you are feeling, that something is just like a chain or like a balloon which is pressing inside. This is the engagement of the core in a simple way. So try to make your command as simple as if it is possible. So some exercises we can practice for hypolordosis, right? To correct the hypolordosis, we can practice some exercises too. So corrective exercises for hypolordosis, or these are the exercises which I am giving you, is for the general lower back pain too. If you have a sitting job, 5 to 6 hours, standing jobs, or lack of immobility in your job, try this for 1 week. So exercises for hyperlordosis, that is your high arch. So first we can do that abdominal, this whole abdominal is divided into 3 parts. Right? The whole abdominal is divided into 3 parts that you call the abs, 6-pack abs. Right? So this is divided into 3 parts: lower ab, middle ab, upper abs. Right? The lower abs, middle ab, upper abs. So mostly in the females you have seen that the lower abdominals are weak. So what is the reason behind this? Why the lower abs are weak? The reason behind that, sometimes people say because we have to deliver the baby. Yes, this is the one thing. But if there is no baby, then also you feel that the lower abs are weak. If you are not paying attention on these muscles, if you are not doing the proper workout every day. So the one most reason is that menstruation every month, right? Your menstruation cycle every month. So in the first 2 days in the beginning you find some cramps here. And if you're not toning these muscles, not strengthening these muscles, what will happen? And this happens to every month. Right? So what will happen? These muscles lose their tone and there is no activation of these muscles. So that's why this is the one reason that the woman has lower abs are more weak. So lower abdominals, middle abdominals and upper abdominals. So here we can say we do the single leg raise. Single leg raise, 30 degree to the lower abs, 60 degree to the middle abs, and 90 for the upper abs. Then this is, we can say, 10-second hold in the beginning into 3 to 5 repetitions. So next one is the double leg raise. Guys, until our client is not able, right? So we don't have to take them. We've seen so many yoga classes that people ask you, raise your both legs up, down, up, down, up, down. But if you have a high arch, which we have discussed earlier, how much pressure you are putting, guys, on your lower back? How much compression it can create? Maybe sometimes disc can herniate, disc can prolapse, it can rupture too. So that's why always with a single leg first, train the muscles, train the muscle memory in the brain, engage the muscles, then go for the double leg raise. So prepare the muscle first, right? So double leg raise. That is, you have to do, same you can do with 30, 60, 90, 10 seconds hold, 3 to 5 repetitions. Then you have to go for next, which we say, pelvic half bridge. With one leg extension. Right, the pelvic half bridge with one leg extension. 10 seconds hold, 3 to 5 reps. And the last one which we do, that is your abdominal tucks. That is 3 to 5 repetitions. Hold time depends on your own capacity. Not to try overhold. Do not try overhold the muscles. Do not try to overcompress the muscles. So make sure about that in the abdominal text. That's why I have not written down hold time. So how to do these exercises? It's very simple. You can do it easily. Like if the person has an high arch, right? So we have to avoid that imbalances. What you have to do, just place the hands here. You have to make a diamond grip like this way. If you have a high arch, if I ask to lift this up, this is okay. 30 you can do, 60 you can do, 90 you have a tightness, just try to hold it like this way. Right? 10-second hold, 3 to 5 repetitions. 30, you can feel lower abs. 60, you can feel middle ab. For 90 advanced level, you can go directly straight. Then to the other leg, 30, 60, then you can go for the 90. So 10-second hold 10 second to 30 degree, hold 10 second to 60, hold 10 second to 90. Right? Then you can go with the both legs. If you have a high arch, if you ask the person to do 30 like this, creates lower back pain. Already the arch is more. Muscles are not active, make a diamond grip and place underneath your lower back like this. So that gives you more support here. What it gives you? More support. So place it like this, 30, then 60. So 30, lower abs. Then release and then go for the 60. For 90, don't jump from here to here, complete 90. Creates lower back pain again. So bend your knees first if possible, then go for the 90. And then release, relax. So this is the way to go for the 90. One by one. First single leg, then both legs. When you feel that the client is able to do, you feel that there is some progress I can see. Then pelvic half bridge, lift your pelvis slightly up. Only the halfway up, not too much completely, halfway, right? Pelvic half bridge, one leg extension at the level of other knee. Not too much high, not too much low. So pelvic half bridge with one leg extension. Then don't drop the pelvis. When I say relax, sometimes people do this. This is wrong. Half bridge, one leg extension. First bend your knee, then release your pelvis. So pelvic half bridge, one leg extension. Release. First bend your knee, then release it. Right? So this you can do 10-second hold, 3 to 5 repetition. The last one which we see that abdominal tucks. So the command should be push your navel towards your spine. You can bend your knees, push your navel towards your spine. You can hold it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, depends upon your own capacity, on your own strength of the muscle, and release. So these are the exercises if you are doing for general low back pain, or you can do it for every day. You can maintain the muscle strength on your body, on the lower back, or you can correct the imbalances on your, hyperlordosis, and create an awareness, the poses with, which kind of poses, like backward bending, so it will be, you can feel that slowly it is getting more helpful for me. So I hope this must be clear to you guys that hyperlordosis, the high arch, that you have to do it for every day. Only not be strict to only the alignment adjustment, push the navel and this, no. Posture is for the shorter duration of time. Prevention is getting for the longer duration of time, and maintain good muscle tone, good flexibility and good strength, so that you can easily get away from the lower back pain. So I hope this must be clear to you guys. Apply these exercises on your students, on your colleagues, which has this kind of problems if you have seen in past or if you are going to see in future. So try these exercises, try all the alignments which I gave you to avoid the backward bending. So engage, don't over-engage and don't over-lose the tone of the muscles. So this is about for your hyperlordosis, right? Hyperlordosis. So I hope this must be clear to you, all the alignment and adjustments. So till then, thank you so much. Namaste. Have a nice day.